Hey, what's up everybody? Welcome back to another Limbus Company reaction. Today we have kind of an interesting combination because they're actually from two different comments in the last video because they're both pretty short themes and I wanted to get to more than just a minute and 30-second long reaction. So I'm going to be listening to the Hell's Chicken theme and Canto 1 Battle Theme C2. I don't know if these things are like directly connected in any way. I assume that they might be somewhat in the same story event at least. I don't fully know because I'm not sure what Canto 1 really is as a whole or how many like sub stories it may have in there, but I know that obviously Hell's Chicken theme must be related to this one because I've learned that this is basically just Demon KFC after all the comments I read through and got the context of how goofy this storyline is. So I assume we're at least sharing some general story overarching stuff here, but I'll digress and we'll get to the reaction starting with Hell's Chicken. So without further ado, let's go. Ooh, I kind of like the energy of this one. Still goofy, still lighthearted. A little boppy, a little jazzy, a little funky. The funky chicken, if you will. Ooh, that was a fun bass riff. Yeah, I'm just having a good time right now. I love the walking bass line. When in doubt, walk it out. Ooh, a little bit of a change. Like even the percussion changed. Guess we could call this a bridge. Yeah, I'm just having a good time. I don't usually get songs like that in this game, but I'm here for it. I actually really had a good time listening to that one. So that was more lighthearted and fun than I anticipated, even though I knew it was going to be more lighthearted and fun than I would have anticipated last time, because I was already aware of the vibe this whole event was going for, and it was a little bit more goofy, a lot less serious, and I did forget that I had listened to Oh Crab So Crab, so like I forgot that they had done goofy stuff before. Somebody in the comments brought that one back up and I was like, oh right, yeah, I remember that one. That was a little bit more on the goofy end. So it goes to show over time I'll forget things, of course, and certain themes will kind of just disappear from my memory, but once somebody mentions it, I'm like, oh right, I remember that they can do that. And this song is kind of in the same vein of like, this one was a lot more funky. I just had a good time. This was kind of more the energy as far as a reaction goes that I usually give to stuff like Blue Archive, because a lot of their music is just kind of upbeat, bouncy, really fun, and this one was very much that as well. Completely different genre, but at the same time still getting that same response out of me, still eliciting that response. So this one, just a good time. Walking bass line, good way to keep it all funky and just kind of driving all the way forward. That bridge kind of came out of nowhere. I didn't expect there to be a whole percussive shift in there, but that was very welcome. You got to have something to break up the monotony even in a short song like this. It helps everything keep a little bit more on track, and definitely works when you're working with something that loops like this would. You have to have a break somewhere in there so the listener doesn't get tired. I talk about that a lot, especially in the shorter themes I talk about. But really, this just kind of felt like a casual theme, something that you would just kind of hear sitting at a like jazz club or something, like more of an upbeat, maybe cabana vibe compared to a jazz club. But if it was the right type of upbeat jazz club, I would not be surprised either. This is just a good time. This funk backing is just like, hey, we're chilling, we're doing. I wonder if the point actually was the funky chicken joke that I made. I wonder if that was the direction they decided to go with, because that would kind of be just a good joke to run with. I mean, if you have nothing else to work with as far as the theme theme of the music, you might as well go, hey, what works with chicken? Funk, dance, the chicken dance, funky chick. And then you just kind of end up in this like jazzy, funky fusion theme, and you're like, all right, I guess that's where we're sitting here. So this one doesn't really have too much I can talk about or break down as far as like the music theory of it goes. There's nothing I would really define as notable in this one, as weird as that may sound considering how much fun I had listening to it. But sometimes, and this does happen with Blue Archive stuff a lot, where it's just fun. And that's all it has to be. You don't have to overthink it. You don't have to do too much. And there doesn't have to be a deeper meaning to it. It is a chicken theme. You know, like sometimes you don't need to really dig into it and you just need to have a good, fun song. And I think that this song did that very well. But I'm not so sure if Canto 1 Battle Theme C2 is going to have a similar response from me, but I won't know if I don't get to it. So let's get to that one next, shall we? Okay, completely different vibe. Completely different. This is much more intense. I just realized something. Canto 1 and Intervalo are not the same thing. But we still be vibing with this. Great solo. Use those scales. Abuse those scales. This is different. And I don't mean that just because I misunderstood that Canto and Intervalo are different things. I mean it's different in a different way, so I'll get into that. First thing's obvious, I do not play Limbus Company. I kind of forgot that the difference between Canto and Intervalo exists. Obviously they don't have the same name, but for all I knew really going into this, that Intervalos were like little side stories of Cantos, and I'm not sure if that's really the case or if they're separate stories in between Cantos, and I think I saw a comment in hindsight that said that that's more the case. So that's where my brain kicked in and finally made the connection that these are not related at all, and I just made a video of two completely different sounds and two completely different stories. This video will have no theme as a result. This is the song, this is the theme of somebody who has finally tried their hardest for the longest time, but is finally able to crawl out of the hole that they've been digging themselves. This is a very inspirational track. The whole solo had a bunch of inspirational chords, a lot of major lifts, a lot of just general inspirational energy, something that makes you really resonate with the song and makes you go like, yeah, this isn't the end, even if all hope was lost at one point. This is the song that does that phenomenally well. Obviously, like I said, part of that is due to the notes being used. The chords being used are very large, high major chords, stuff that kind of crawls from minor chords to major chords and has that lift in it that helps you feel like you're constantly being lifted as well. But aside from the note choice, which I've already mentioned, of course, the instrument choices are a very good one too, because you have this electronic synth and the electric guitar, and both of those are pretty synonymous with uplifting music over the years. Stuff that has been programmed into our minds to be something that is uplifting or against the grain, like rock and metal being very against the grain, a little alternative, and then electronic and synth stuff being used in more upbeat stuff like dance music. We kind of associate those with this, let's get better, let's do better, but also like, let's enjoy our time here. And all that is coming together for this solo sound that they're going for, and it just sounds amazing. The rest of the song, to be honest, not really too much to talk about because it was all just doing its job on the background. There was drum stuff just doing drum stuff. It was nothing really notable. All of the backing instruments were just kind of doing their thing as well, not even really much to mention on the bass. But overall, the melody is really the shining star in this song. It does a really good job at making you feel like there's still a chance to get out of whatever hole you've dug. And that makes me feel like this song was played at a time where like you have been trying your hardest, and maybe this is where that's finally becoming the turnaround point and you have a chance to win compared to all of this struggle you just endured. I'm not sure how true that is, and I think even the comment that requested this one mentioned something like that, so that might be assisting my opinion there, but overall the song would have done it by itself. It does that so well on its own that I wouldn't have needed the assistance of a comment to really make me understand that, because everything is so uplifting about this track. I will actually backpedal a little bit and say that the backing of this song actually does support that very well, because it is a backbone. There is no big changes, there's no big fills, there's no big shining moment in the rest of this song under the solos that are happening in general. So like, you get all of this uplifting energy from the solos, something that is that singular unit standing above and atop everything else. And then under that, you have this great support system of all the other instruments, this brick wall laying underneath it, this immovable force that is assisting the rest of the power in front of it. So that does its job as well, and that together, of course, works even better to make this song feel so much more uplifting and high flying. You get that support system so you don't feel like you're gonna fall. You feel like no matter even if you did fall, you would still land on something soft. You're not really concerned about that because you have so much confidence in the support beneath you that you're allowed to get a little wild and have this solo be your overall mentality pulling you forward. But I think that's where I'll end this video, because if I keep yapping, I'll end up talking in circles, which has happened a few times, especially with these shorter themes. I tend to restate things a few too many times, and I'm not really a fan of doing that, so I will call it. Thank you all so very much for watching this. If you have any other songs you want me to get to, of course, leave them in the comments below, and I guess it doesn't matter if they're related or not. I'll figure that out going forward. After this one, I realized that I made that mistake, but it's also not like it's gonna ruin the video or anything. It might just come off as weird while I'm pairing these two. It's because I was ignorant and I've learned, and that's how humanity do. But of course, if you just like this video and you want to follow me and support me for other stuff in the future related to each other or not, you know how to do all that, and I will see you all in the next video. Goodbye!